I have ever heard in professional sports. It is absolutely insane how much coverage this has gotten. It is stupid, and I am so sick of it.
Yeah, no, it's really quite annoying because there has been not nearly enough talk of X's and O's type of stuff about football regarding this game.
You have to wonder if the NFL's sort of kind of letting this build on itself just so it can show, we can investigate something. We can really get to the bottom of something.
And they're screwing this up.
Yeah, just there's a time to sort of step away and say, no team has cried foul about this. Certainly, we'll take better steps to make sure that this doesn't happen again. It's become what it's become. And Bill Belichick, I mean, he has to blame himself a little bit for this because of everything that happened before.
But the NFL is really at fault here because they could put this whole thing to bed by just wrapping up this investigation, this quote-unquote investigation. How many people do you have to talk to? How much video can there possibly be to review about whether or not balls were illegally deflated? If they were checked at game time and they were fine, and they're not checked midway through the first quarter, somebody let the air out of those damn balls.
Yeah, and I think, what you can do simply is this. You can make the proclamation it didn't affect the end and the bottom line, and it didn't. No one's complaining about it. The Colts aren't complaining about it. Everybody wants to live with the final score, and let the story itself be the embarrassing moment for the Patriots, the thing that sort of makes everybody, because that's the people that are crying foul have sort of cried foul about a million things about the Patriots, and some of those things have come true, or there's suspicions that haven't been proven, and you just sort of let it be a part of that. And if people want to question it, then they'll question it as long as they want to. But otherwise, it's really hard as professionals that take part in this process to look at this and really say that it makes a difference, especially if let's say the Patriots win the Super Bowl. I just can't see saying that. And if anyone who says, this is a scar on the Patriots winning the Super Bowl, I think that's sort of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. What was it? Jerry Rice saying they should put an asterisk next to them if they win the Super Bowl? That's insanity.
That is insanity.
And I have the utmost respect for Jerry Rice, but when I heard that, I was like, he needs to shut up.
But that's stupid. That's where everyone's going to go with this now, and that's the most annoying part. Because people are going to come out and say, well, the only reason the Patriots were in the Super Bowl is because they cheated, because they broke a rule. Well, if it's a rule, then the NFL just needs to levy a fine. But any football fan worth their salt that thinks that there was a different outcome in that game because of the amount of air in a football is an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And on that note, I think we need to change topics.
Let's change topics.
Keith, when you get worked up to that point, and you get lathered up like that, and your hair's standing up on it, it really gets me nervous.
Nobody bring up Jay Cutler because I'm in a mood now.
Ooh.
Coach Killer.
Oh my God.
I love the fun that we have on this show.
It's fun.
It's always fun.
I'm not going to bring up Cutler until next week. I'll wait till after the Super Bowl.
No, we're done talking about Jay Cutler until training camp. Until the Bears make a decision, we're done talking about Jay Cutler.
I might sneak one in. I'll surprise you.
I'm using autocratic authority here. I control the board.
So as long as we're I guess on this topic, and what do you think about the Super Bowl?
Oh, you mean that game?
Yeah.
Well, it's nothing compared to the inflation level of the balls. I really am looking forward to this game because I caught myself because I had this preconceived notion in my head that Seattle's defense was just really that much better than the Patriots, and when you start looking at the nitty gritty, they're really pretty even.
Yeah.
And so now you come down, well, whose offense is going to execute better? There was absolutely nothing in that NFC Championship game which gives me any confidence in Seattle's offense. They figured it out.
The only thing that gives me confidence is the fact that they played as bad as they could possibly play. They played their worst game, and sometimes that's good for teams. It's like you played your worst game of the year, and you still won against a quality opponent. So some teams, that can give you just the most confidence you could ever ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, you're absolutely right, I think. I mean, the other thing that it does is good things happen to good teams. And that was one of those things.
Yeah.
You think about the Seattle offense. Like, what do they have to do to win this game? Well, they have to be able to run the ball. Well, New England was the sixth highest rated rush defense. For the year, they were 18th in yards, but as far as execution-wise, they were the sixth highest rated at Pro Football Focus. So can they execute and keep the ground game under control? Because the Seahawks passing game was not so much. They were 27th in the league in yards, and they were one of the they were negative rated. I'll get you the exact number here.
Well, I think that
middle of the road. They were middle of the road in passing.
The part of the passing game that needs to do well, part of the rushing attack for Seattle that needs to do well isn't necessarily Marshawn Lynch, is what they showed at the end of that Green Bay game. The entire game, Russell Wilson really didn't scramble. And it wasn't until the end when he broke a few runs did it open up the running game for Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, the zone.
And not only that, it gave Russell Wilson more confidence, which improved his passing attack.
You're right as rain, man.
Yeah, so to me, I think if he can get going early enough and then put in some of those, 5 to 10 yard little scrambles that has made him successful, that's going to go a long way. Because really, Marshawn Lynch, every team knows that he's going to be running the ball. And you're going to throw Vince Wilfork on top of him, and if there's one person that and now, mind you, I don't know Vince, and I hear he's a good guy, and I hope he doesn't kill me, is large enough to stop Marshawn Lynch, it's Vince Wilfork. Talented enough, large enough. That defensive line has the ability, but I don't know if they are going to be able to keep track of both of them, Marshawn and Russell.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was sitting down and getting my notes together for tonight's show, one of the things I wrote was Patriots must stop Russell Wilson on the ground. And it's not so much that he will beat them with it. I mean, he doesn't have to score a touchdown with it. It's just it will open up so many other aspects of their game, including Marshawn Lynch and including their passing game, which, quite frankly, they've got some really good wide receivers and they're fast. And I don't think Russell Wilson will be intimidated by the Patriots secondary necessarily. And we've seen their secondary implode when things come unhinged, exactly as what we're describing right now.
I know exactly the plays you're talking about, Steve. In the fourth quarter, there was a couple zone reads where Russell Wilson just absolutely caught the Packers guessing one way. And then all of a sudden you got to respect that. And when you got to respect the quarterback's ability to get around the tackle, that changes everything up the middle.
Yeah, and it seemed like the game plan in the first three quarters was to keep him in the pocket, which that I don't necessarily understand because Russell is that kind of quarterback that is smart enough and has the ability to, when he does scramble, he never really gets hit. I mean, he can get down, he can get out of bounds before anyone lays a big hit on him. So to me, I would not hold that back. I mean, you need to be able to let that go because he's not going to embarrass you. He's not going to put the team in a position to cause them to, have to throw in their backup quarterback. He will always find a way to get out of bounds or to get down. So to me, they should just look at that fourth quarter. Because if you look at Green Bay, they're similar in quite a few ways to New England.
Well,
no, what were you going to say, Jim?
Oh, I was going to chime in before you went too far on the point of Russell Wilson getting hit. One of the things, though, Steve, is you have to consider the Seahawks have given up the 13th most sacks in the league. And if you add in 91 hits, quarterback hits, it's a pretty substantial amount. Now, how much of that is due to Russell Wilson running around the pocket, not getting rid of the football, or being tackled before he gets a chance to make a play. I don't know. But I think if Russell Wilson starts getting clobbered in the backfield, this is a much different game.
Mm-hmm.
He should be able to roll out and get a few good 10, 15, 20-yard runs without being trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Keith would say, no?
No.
I'm getting so...
Well, no, I agree. I mean, really the big thing with Russell Wilson is he can't turn it over. I mean, if he throws
Bingo.
4 interceptions and they have a fumble, what was it, 5 total turnovers they had?
Yeah, they can't.
If they do that against the Patriots, they're going to lose.
He can't have another game like he had 2 weeks ago and expect them to win this one.
Because honestly, the way their defense played, because Seattle's defense actually played very well. You know, there's a lot of, I've been talking to a lot of people at work and whatnot. They're like, oh, well, they didn't really play that good. I'm like, no, you got to understand. They gave up 6 points on 5 turnovers. That's actually phenomenal. This reminds me a lot of last season when the Broncos were going into the Super Bowl. They had one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, really good offense, a lot of weapons, a solid defense, and they just got embarrassed by Seattle. And I see a lot of similarities this season. And I think one of the big things is you have a great quarterback, but Brady is equal to Manning in the fact that if you can put enough pressure on him, he becomes very pedestrian. So it's just going to depend on, can the defense of Seattle play the way they played last season? If they can, I think this could potentially be another blowout like it was last year.
Russell Wilson had the highest average time to throw this season. That's just ridiculous to me. However, when he had 2.6 seconds or more, his rating dropped to 73.8. With 2.5 seconds and less, it's 113.2. So the longer he stays in the pocket, the more mistakes he makes. Go think about that.
Yeah, I mean, which I give him credit because I think he's trying to, like I said, he is a smart player, and I'm wondering if he's just trying to evolve his game to be less of a runner, more of a pocket passer, because that's what the NFL pretty much. I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers. I think Russell Wilson, if he can get his play similar to Aaron Rodgers, then he would be, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And it makes me wonder if that's what he's trying to shoot for.
You ready? You ready for this? That stat I just threw out, QB rating with 2.6 seconds and more. He's only 1.7 rating points away from Jay Cutler with 2.6 seconds or more. And that's not a sabermetric. That's NFL quarterback rating.
I thought we weren't bringing up Jay Cutler.
I'm just throwing that out there.
No,
so it goes back to what
you're poking the bear. You're poking the bear, Grieve.
It's getting back to what you were saying, that if Russell Wilson can get outside the pocket, the Patriots are done. Just saying.
Another thing I think...
Jim, you got to say something, because I'm about ready to say something about Cutler I don't want to say.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to even discuss him. There's no need to give him more time than is necessary.
No, exactly.
The other thing I think that will be crucial is for the Seahawks to put pressure on Tom Brady. We saw this last year with Peyton Manning. We saw it the last couple times that the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. If you can pressure Tom Brady, and get him out of rhythm, you can beat them, or at least stop that offense. Now, that having been said, I hearken back to, and this doesn't mean necessarily anything this time around, but back to their 2012 game in Seattle in October. Tom Brady punched a 395 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 interceptions stat line. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. But they still lost the game 24-23.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of things obviously that go into every every outcome in the ultimate team game. But when you're talking about the matchups of the quarterbacks,